Hi, everybody. Welcome back to this week's Tiny Dot Concert. We're here today with Daniel Laurent and Jeff two times. Really excited to have you both here. Jeff, as the existing Dorchester person in the room,
Yes.
I'm going to start with you. Tell me a little bit about your musical history and what brings you to the room today.
My music history goes back
Way back in the time.
Late 80s, early 90s, been DJing. I'm in a rap group, produced, did a lot. I'm still here.
Say their name.
I don't want to do all that.
I mean, jeez Louise.
Now, I'll let you do that.
Almighty RSO,
Okay.
right? And then Made Men.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a part of Wise Guys. Yeah.
Wise Guys.
So
Handmade
it's
three.
it's a whole
Quite the
long
history.
Yeah, he's,
We could be here for hours. That's why I don't want to
he downplays a lot, and it's just kind of like it's cool, but it's kind of obnoxious because the intro is the intro, right?
Right.
Like, you've heard of Nas before. Like, he has produced for Nas.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, knock it off.
Yeah, that's right. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Nas, like the Nas?
The Nas.
Wow.
Exactly.
You should not downplay that.
He's, toured across the world. Source Magazine, Source, what was it, Source Lab?
Source Sound Lab with Ray J and Egypt, and then Source All Access with Lisa Ray and Tretch.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean,
That's a pedigree.
He just, like, it just rolls
He's
it.
like, oh, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It must be nice. Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, Daniel.
I mean, I just, I work at a pharmacy. I just, I'm an artist.
Roxbury, but we'll claim part of you.
Roxbury, but this is the connection, right? So, and the thing, like, there's a checking in, right? And so, because I checked in, and then I have a connection, he is my gateway, he's my pass. So when I walk through, when I walk on Dorchester Ave, and I'm actually going to be doing, shout out to State Rep Brandy Fluka Oakley.
Brandy Fluka Reed now.
Yes. Damn.
That's right.
I'm gonna pay.
She
for
will
that.
notice that.
I'm gonna pay for that.
Yes, you will.
Sorry. I'm walking with her for Dot Day.
Awesome.
Because it's the day after, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be walking with her. So when I walk down the streets, they're like, "Oh, that's Jeff's guy." You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. So thank you. I'm artist, filmmaker, clothing brand Black Dollar. I just recently got the trademark, so I own it.
Oh,
So that's
great.
you know what I'm saying. So and community advocate. I'm involved in a lot of different things. I do a lot of advocacy in domestic violence spaces, and yeah.
And how long have you been performing?
A long time. I think with me, it's hard to calculate the time because I never really gave it a full go. I was always doing it while I was working or something else or some project, and it was always,
on the side,
like 30%.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, however, I think when I look at certain people, and I don't want to make it Boston specific, but when I look at certain artists who are like aging, they're not aging well. And I don't mean aesthetically. I just mean like they're not sharp, and it's just kind of like they're being wheeled out and performing. And then, so for me, it's important. Like, I look at people who I'm inspired by, past, present, and I always constantly want to be better, So even the performance piece, there's different ways that I try to like attack a song, or, I call it dancing. So, there's certain ways. So like the All Money In record, the line is, I've been grinding all my existence. Past few years, I've lost a couple of friendships. But what I was like, I've been grinding all my existence. Past few years, I lost a couple of friendships. Full steam ahead. So it's like little weaving in and out.
Yeah.
That like a musical ear would get.
Right.
But like someone else would be like, oh, yeah, it's a cool record. So anyway. That's a very long intro, but it is what it is.
That's okay. So you are also no stranger to the podcast scene. You've got a couple of themes under your belt, I believe. Tell me a little bit more about your podcasting background.
Wedlocked and Loaded with my manager, as Jeff calls her.
Management.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So my wife, Leah, who's actually the star of Cry For Me also.
Okay.
So we do episodes. It comes out every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Actually haven't done it in the past maybe 2 weeks. Life is life in. However, like it's super important, and we're up to maybe 140 episodes, or maybe more. It
I
might be
can't
like
wait
100.
to be there. That's impressive.
Yeah, but and the thing is, a lot of people, it was this whole big podcast explosion, and everybody was doing a podcast, and after 4 podcast releases, they disappear because no one has consistency. People thought that they were going to be quick money grabs,
Right.
Like the editing
Or quick attention grabs.
Yeah, and it just doesn't, like, you have to
It's hard.
Yeah. And so
we can talk about how hard it is. Harder than I expected.
And I'm even seeing from the episodes that I saw, I see like you did something on this episode and you made it a point not to do it on this episode. So like I'm seeing it in real time, right? So like, but a lot of people are it's just, I don't know. And that's part of what me, even with not being fully dedicated into, art creating, I've always been doing something forever, right? And that's why I take my hat off to like people like Terminology, who he lived and breathed it every single day.
Yeah.
Right? Like eating ramen noodles or whatever he had to do, but every single day he was a rapper.
Committed to it.
Yeah.
And
so you have to have that level in order to, what is it, the 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. So a lot of people have done 150 hours, and
they get tired or they get bored.
Yeah, but God bless. Stay away from me. I have stuff. I want to only be with the 10,000 hour people.
Yeah.
You and I,
we got to talk offline about collaborating artistically with your partner, because there's some lessons to figure out there. We're loving it, but man, it's a different dimension to the relationship.
It is, and it's
She's talking about the struggle.
it's and I will say, just to put a button on the wedlocked and loaded piece, is 2 things. One, coming up with it, I really wanted to have a podcast experience. And what I was seeing, and I still see, is a lot of people will say they have podcasts, and it's just an internet live. It's just an Instagram live, or it's just a Facebook live.
And it's just a stream of consciousness. There's no real thoughtfulness to it.
And so, like, and then do you have like a hub? Like, I've always been big on having a hub of where like I would live, right? So even back in the MySpace days, I was one of the only artists that bought a domain name and had a website.
Okay.
Because I always said, what happens if MySpace goes down? And then we see what happens.
And all of your assets are there. Then
So
were you friends with Tom?
Tom, that guy, man. Jeez,
Where'd he go?
He's
I miss
such
Tom.
Yeah, good old Tom. Tom cashed out. That's what Tom did.
Tom was smart.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but the wedlocked and loaded. So I wanted to make it a real podcast experience, and then also I wanted to master the audio experience before making it video. And I just felt that was a better way to like gradually grow, and not do video and then you can't keep up with it, or it doesn't look the way you want it to look. So I was intentional about it. Leah also. And we wanted it to be the presentation that we put out.
And you mentioned Cry For Me.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about
Cry
that.
For Me, it's a short film, 20 minutes. It's won, I think, 34 awards to this date, like 45 film festivals. I wrote the song Cry For Me. I wrote the video, wrote the short film, co-directed it, produced it, executive produced it.
Wow.
Maxed out credit cards. Did scout location, all the things.
Was it shot in Boston?
Some of it, and then some of it was, I think, Dover. I think that was a house. I found this house, and it was an arm and a leg and 2 fingers. But it was an important character in the movie, so I had to have that house.
Dover, New Hampshire?
Dover, Mass.
Dover, Mass. Okay.
I think Dover, Mass. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was Dover, Mass. And so, I'm proud of it. There's definitely things as a creative. I'm like, "Argh." Like watching it, I see stuff,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Where
But
can people find that?
so it's purposely not readily available online because two things. One, it's in consideration for 3 different film festivals.
Okay.
And part of those requirements is you can't have it like online and for people to just see whenever they want. And then 2, I don't know what the next iteration is and what I'm going to do with it. And so there's a FOMO element to it. So when people see that it's going to be screened, they're like, "Oh, I got to come see it. I heard about it."
Right. And I can't see it anywhere else right
Yeah.
now.
And so I've been using it for educational. I did something with teen empowerment, did something with Boston Public Schools, and I'm intentionally talking to young people, young men in particular. And I always say that, of course, men are abused also, just not as disproportionate. The numbers are just not even in the same stratosphere. But I'm trying to have course correction.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to young men, older men with like different, behaviors and trying to fix certain things and trying to prevent the next victim turned survivor. And with the whole Diddy and Cassie thing, that's all in the zeitgeist. Like people have their opinions. How come she didn't leave? And, she was on a gravy train till it wasn't.
Right.
And it's like, I'm silent because that's just not how it works.
No.
And the stats are, it typically takes 7 times, the attempts of 7 times to leave before you successfully leave.
And that's when you're not with someone who owns your entire career and their future.
It's that part.
So the power imbalance.
And she's a beautiful girl, but
Yeah.
I don't know if she was the most talented. I don't
Right.
think that's a secret, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's
anyway,
a whole different podcast episode.
it's a whole different podcast. But anyway,
So how did Daniel and Jeff, how did you guys connect?
man.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do we connect?
I didn't warn you about this question.
Do you even know?
Wait a minute. Well, I did radio, so I would get his music. That's how the
Before that.
relationship. We would get me the music, and we just stayed in touch and communicated a lot. That's crazy.
No, because this is before 80. Because you weren't on Hot. You weren't on Hot. You were on 87.
Yeah, 87.
But like we had a relation. I mean, I don't know how it sounds.
You don't wanna say that.
I know,
Not
but
a
we
relationship
were
like that.
we were in community before 87 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean I don't know. Anyway, I think it's one of those things where like it was always a genuine mutual respect in a real way from both of us, and we would have like real conversations, and
And just like in the same circles for a while, and then
we also got to keep in mind that we share the same birthday,
you do
the exact same. Yeah,
What day?
September 6th.
yeah.
September. Nice.
Which is so Virgos is
Yeah.
and we think differently, and
Yeah,
whether that
my-
gets
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
like if he's having a bad day, if something's on his mind, he'll call me.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because you think the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he's feeling away, he'll call me like, and I talk.
Yeah.
By the time we hang up, he's
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Now
I'm an Aries, so that whole it's very different thought processing.
it's very
system.
different,
Yeah.
I mean, it's people have their opinions about Virgos, but the reality is like Virgos are very process systems oriented. And I think in a world of chaos and people just doing whatever they want to do, they're not going to so much understand and or appreciate Virgos.
Yeah.
And in turn, I don't so much appreciate most of y'all. So, it's a perfect, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your music choices, your styles. Did you adjust your style at all when you got together with Jeff two time or?
Honestly, right? Always. Now I know. Always liked what he was doing.
Okay.
For number one, like he's real hip hop, and I always felt that his name to me should come up in more conversations with a lot of these other guys.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Like because he's definitely nice at what he does, and that's my thing with him. Always like whenever he calls me, I'm always gonna pick up. He ever needs me to do something, I'm always gonna be there because I believe in what he got going on, as I always did from day one.
And that means a lot because he doesn't. He's not readily available for everybody.
No.
You know, and that doesn't come from. A paycheck attached to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, I'm always very mindful of. I know in my heart if I need him for some performance that I'm doing on Mass and Cass in the middle of the street, right? And I just want to stand in front and perform. And I'm like, yo, I need you. He'll show up. However, when there's opportunities where he can make a couple of dollars or make a little more than a couple of dollars, I'm always doing that also to balance it out.
Yeah.
You know, and so whether it's weddings and bar mitzvahs and divorce parties, you haven't done a divorce party yet, have you?
Are those more popular? Are you seeing those?
Man,
You never know.
you know how relationships go. You know, to have and to hold, to death do us part. Sometimes people die a little sooner. I digress.
Another whole episode.
That's another one. Yeah,
Benjamin, I have no control.
I know. I'm gonna hear about it as soon as this airs. So this will be fodder for the next podcast. For
That's
sure.
right. I'm gonna have to tune into yours to hear how she responds.
Yeah, we've had some really good ones. One of the highest viewed ones were like over 30,000 downloads. I think, like hard downloads. One of the highest rated ones was we interviewed the Flirty Swingers.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
And so it's a couple, and I think they both were married before, and they're together, and it was just a normal conversation about the matriculation of their relationship and how they got to this point. And they're big on social media. It's a whole big thing. But
For those of you who are just listening to this, Jeff is shaking his head actively at the Flirty Swingers.
yeah, that's not his bag. I'm intrigued by stuff like that, right?
It's interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
I know that I can't have a life where that's just kind of what it is, but I'm very intrigued by it. I always have been, you know, that he's much more conservative in that regards. Like, I mean, it's a wild question. Do you do PDA? Do you like kiss in public?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay. I would see him like, oh, babe, don't do that. Wait.
Nah.
Now, you're not like going crazy.
Nah, I'm not going crazy.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
You're not doing like public makeouts or anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that's me. I'm in
Yeah?
Washington Park, like going crazy.
the crazy thing, I always said I just want to like just make out in public, like, you know what I mean?
Go for it
Yeah, do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
at Dorchfest.
This is a family event.
I don't think my girl's gonna be there. I just can't just make out.
Is
with
it family?
anybody.
No, you said that the kids are gonna be earlier,
I mean, there's kids all day. You
but
know,
that's how they get here.
that's true.
So
That's true.
yeah,
And by the way, it doesn't have to be your girl. Okay.
No.
flirty swingers.
No way.
So bringing it back.
Trying to get him jammed up. Hey man.
Yeah.
All right.
Bringing
He's-
it back to George Fest. So you guys are going to be there. You're going to be there, I think, at 1 o'clock. I got to check the schedule, but I'm pretty sure you're in the early slot, and you're going to
Yep.
be at 104 Beaumont. So we have Beaumont Street closed this year.
Yeah.
You guys can come down and walk around and not worry about traffic, which would be great.
That's
It's
good.
going to be a pretty busy
We don't want to be hit. We
busy
don't-
site. Yeah, no hitting. Where else can people catch you guys?
Do you have anything?
I just got a new time slot on 88.9 Saturdays from 5 to 6.
Okay.
Legendary 88.9.
Yeah.
Wait, now back. We must. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna try to figure this out because back when. So funny story about 88.9. My record, and it was like verified by people at the time, was the most requested record by a local or national artist on 88.9.
Wow.
And that was Masterpiece. And I seen somebody last night who served like, he did like an 18-year, bid in jail. And he was like, Daniel Laurent, you had that record. Oh man. And same thing with Neil. Neil would tell me that. And so, it's always power of music is beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. That's 88.9, the legendary 88.9.
So tell us a little bit more about your inspirations. Where do you draw you write your songs?
Yeah.
Where do you draw your inspirations from? Is it
I'm no Drake. I think people that come to mind now, Pac, Tupac, Nas, Nipsey, Killer Mike, Royce the 5'9", and do you remember that? What happened with the live? So Almighty RSO, right? Ray Dog, which then matriculated to Benzino, right? A lot of people know Benzino from like reality TV shows and all the different things. Mm-hmm. We did our COVID MC, and we did an Instagram live, and Benzino, because they're group mates, right, and friends. Benzino joined, and we were just having a conversation. His daughter's Coyle Ray too.
Okay.
So it's a whole, right? So we talked about that, talked about whatever, and so I was saying like, yeah, one of my favorite groups is Slaughterhouse, because that it is,
okay,
right? Joe Budden, Royce the 5'9", Crooked Eye, and Joel Ortiz. I completely forgot that Royce the 5'9", who is friends with Eminem, and Benzino just have issues, and it was like public threats online. It was a whole, so like I'm like telling Benzino like, yeah, my favorite is, and it like, yeah.
How'd that go over?
It didn't go over too bad.
It wasn't crazy, but like I was genuinely being sincere about my admiration for these. And
when it clicked, did you backtrack?
No, the show was over.
Oh, okay.
And I went and looked on, because there's a video on YouTube with Royce like going crazy at him, and bazookas are involved. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Exactly. So I forgot, and I'm like, oh no. But anyway,
well, yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the way Killer Mike in particular, it's not that I love all of his music, but the way he is able to blend his activism and social consciousness into his music without feeling preachy is very like inspiring to me.
It's a tough line to tread. Yeah.
Because I don't, like Public Enemy, love them, right? But like, I just always felt like, bass, how low can you go? And it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? So blending the worlds is very tricky, and Royce the 5'9", I feel like does it really well also. So those are who I look to. And Kendrick now, and I guess always, but like now he's super inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how often do you write new music?
Not as much as shout out to Rex. I mean, I'm sure he writes every morning. I write when I have something to say.
Okay.
When I leave from here, I'm going to record a record that it took me probably 3 months to write. And I write a song in 10 minutes. But this new record that I wrote, I wanted it to be perfect, and I wanted it to be organic, and for me to like, so I would listen to the beat every day for 3 months. And then I finally sat down, and you know what? I was at 19 Keys. 19 Keys was here, and I think I went in the bathroom and like locked the stall and went on and stand. I didn't sit down, like not TMI, but I locked the stall and I stood up and I was on my phone typing, and I got like the first half of the song, and then I finished it later. So
you
I'm
gotta
going
write when the inspiration hits.
Yeah. So that's how that goes. And I don't believe in just fluff. I was never one of those people that had, 40 mixtapes, and like I say what needs to be said, and otherwise, like I don't take a record that's a really big record and then I want to do it over and remix it.
Okay.
Like the arrogance of you to feel like the record wasn't good enough, now your voice has to be on it. But that's a dumb rapper thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you mind performing a few tracks here?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Let me figure out what I'm going to perform.
All
Okay.
right. Cool. Well, thank you both.
Is Jeff going to be behind me on the ones and twos?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, stay tuned.
And we're live. We're rolling. So my name is Daniel Laurent. I'll be one of the featured artists this year's Dorch Fest. Jeff 2 times gonna be on ones and twos. They still say that? Yeah, I've been grinding all my existence. Past few years I lost a couple of friendships. Full steam ahead, never ending. I'm writing scriptures at the state of the city with the mayor's private admittance. I'm trying to remain civil though. Boy, I tell you, they intentionally making it difficult. Each and every step they put up some obstacles. Learn from the great Sean Corey, the streets watching you. If I kill you, I'm brainless. Clout chasing viral moments, making them famous. Trying to stay out the way, bro. Black Dollar, the movement and mission and building, they know. Hustler spirit, hear it throughout my tone. Intentional with the poetry, purposely in my zone. I'm well respected, tab ain't cost a dime. My credit was good before my first credit card with a line. I'm feeling good, getting so better with time. Built my castle brick by brick, finally say it's mine. Family dysfunctions, choose to put in rhymes instead of more hours on a therapist's couch with the blinds. Link with Kamo and Diamond was impressed, sent this record and now it's prepared for you to digest. Putting a pause on the cheers and the toast, all money in till we victory lapping with blue notes, yeah. Alright, so that was just a little preview. We got a whole set prepared. I don't want to unveil all the magic here, right? But just a little taste of what we're gonna do. So this is a record nobody knows. It's actually a new visual experience I have coming out, and it's probably one of my most personal records. Yeah, my heart was broke many times, many faces, spaces, many times, Friends and family equally. Now I don't answer my phone so frequently. Narratives float, DL don't speak to me. Focus is to protect inner peacefully, and by that I gotta stay by my lonesome. New me 3.0, yes, I'm on one. Force field around just in case the foes come. I'm looking for consistency if anyone knows some. I'm no longer concerned where so-and-so's from. I'm a hustler, connect with like minds even if the smoke come. Keep that energy if you type it. My posts are mine and you don't have to like it. A lot of Kool-Aid drinkers I see on timelines. Communities in ruin seeking power in prime time. Even those I respect, the next can't stand them. Complicated reverence like victims of handguns. Honor no longer as I once knew it. Distant associates to some I was cool with. Sink the pool in the corner with my pool stick. I had to unfollow some that I grew with. Just cause we from the hood, it don't mean I fool with. Opposed to one from a different hood that I shoot with. Bow. Shout out to D-Quest. Shout out to Latia LaRock. And fun fact, this record actually inspired the Native Land podcast theme song. So shout out to Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, and Andrew Gillum. You know, that's one of the proud moments. Yeah, I'm a creator and an executor. I don't think pie in the sky, no roofers. It's plain practical approach. No need to reinvent the Tesla wheel or Ford scooters. You want Kirby demos or store hoovers. You want a team full of passers or mixed shooters. You pick your path, don't fold to the stress. Try one, don't work, don't quit, on to the next. Self-made is the best way I know how to get it out the mud. My only road to success. Never played a full game of chess, but I know it's the game of life. 20, 40 is at best. Everyone wants it now and they can't wait later. I pay my tab plus tips, don't owe favors. Held down the household when I grew pubics. I'm jaded through that time, but glad I grew through it. As an adult, I'm now able to move fluid. I'm thinking on the fly and adapt to the new rubrics. Stay far from timid heart moves when it's in tune with. No new friends, bad habits, I'm used to it. Primo quality or else I can't move it. Lead them Beaner and Tim's, I just bruce it. Loss of loved ones is fuel to go harder. Peace to Dad, Tosh One, and Mr. Garner. Love. So catch us at the George Fest 2025. I don't want to speak, I don't have the exact address, but this is where you'll put it, like right here, right? I'm ad-libbing, but I think the address will be like right here. I'm gonna look stupid if it's not. Anyway, I'm Daniel Laurent, catching me and Jeff 2 times. Yep.